Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sunnytime. So today we're going to work on the inside of Cupcake Magic. So I'm going to show you how to program it. The first thing I did was just select my background. So you're going to go here, you're going to click it. I'm in outdoors and I selected Colorful City. So that's where we're at. The next thing I'm going to do is insert my first character. So some of you have a cat right now. Others probably started blank. If you have a cat, you're just going to go to costumes and you're going to delete both the cats. So I'll show you what that looks like. So let's say I have Scratch. I'm going to go to costumes. I'm going to delete this cat. I'm going to upload from my computer and I'm going to select the cupcake with no icing. And then I'm going to delete this cat. I'm going to maybe shrink this down to about 30 for size. And I think that that's a pretty good size. I'm going to place that right here. We're going to go into code. And the things that I need to let my game know right now are that when the green flag is clicked, my background or my backdrop needs to be Colorful City. The next thing is my size. So I need to set size to 30. And I also need to set the location of where I want my cupcake. And I think that this is pretty good. I like it. It's almost in the center, not too much, but it's perfect for me. So I'm going to go to motion and I'm going to input go to these coordinates. The next thing that we're going to do is now we need to get it to move. So we're going to go to forever. And we're going to get an if then loop. And we're also going to go to sensing and we're going to grab key blank pressed. If key blank pressed. And we're going to duplicate this because we're going to need two of these. So we're going to say that when the right arrow and when the left arrow are clicked. And we're going to say, we're going to go to motion and we're going to say move 10 steps. We're going to grab two of those. I just want to show you what this will do. So if I do -5, and this is just going to be 5. Okay, so you can move it like this. This is perfectly fine too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use, there's another way, and I'm going to use change X by this number. Okay, so I'm going to say 5, and again, -5. And you can do this either way. It should be perfectly fine if you decide to use the move. This does the same thing. The next thing I'm going to do is we need to make some variables. So at the top of our game, we have two variables. We have points and we also have lives. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make them. So we're going to type in for points. We're going to make another variable and we're going to call this lives. So now we have these two variables. What we're going to do is we're first going to choose what happens, what goes on with our score. So what you're going to need is you're going to need another if-then loop. Once you have your if-then loop, what you're going to do is you're going to go to operators and we're going to select blank equal to 50. We're going to put that in. We're also going to go to variables and we're going to grab one that says lives. So in lives, if lives equal 50, we're going to make this 0. If lives equal 0, then we're going to have it say try again. Say try again. And then we're also going to have this stop everything that's going to start happening. Okay, so we're going to have to stop everything because this means that you ran out of lives, you have to start over. This is what's going to happen. Everything's going to stop. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add another one, and we can simply just duplicate this. We're going to duplicate, drop it here. We're going to get rid of the lives, and we're also going to get rid of this stuff here. So now what we need to get is we need to grab a new operator, and we need to get one that says if this is greater than, okay? Greater than, and I'm going to say greater than, I think 44 is pretty fair. 44 is pretty fair, and we're going to say points. So if points is greater than 44, then we want to broadcast, because now, now that we've reached pretty much the end of the game, we're going to broadcast high. All right, and so once we do that, we're going to have this go to, so you can go to motion and select go to negative 20. Okay, and then we're also going to grab a variable. I'm going to grab points. So I noticed that this does something weird. I'm not sure why. Again, just like you guys, I'm still learning. And so when I did this, it was pretty cool, but it also didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I probably on accident put points into my y coordinate, but what it ended up doing is that when all of my things eventually fall, they don't fall so close together. They end up falling more separate. So I put points in here. We'll see what it does later. If it does the same thing, we'll leave it. If not, we'll take it out and we'll do something different. But for now, it's fine to plug in points for y. You can also, the code I have under mine is negative 127 for my coordinates. So if we plug this in, it'll show us where we're headed. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to have it say, because now this is the end of the game, we want to have it say you win, or whatever message you feel would be good for the person playing your game. You win. And I'm going to have them say this for 2 seconds. And then again, like when they lost the game or when they ran out of lives, we're also going to have this say stop everything. So once we hit this point, we want everything to stop. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new character. So this character is going to be my first color of icing, to be my pink icing. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to upload from my computer. Select my icing. We're going to open that. All right. So then we're going to go to costume. And now you see I have this one icing. You're free to use whatever you want for this game. Again, you can use a person and a ball, and you can have it be like a dodgeball game. If you want to see that, I'll do that in another video. But this, we're just going to use my one icing. We're going to go to code. So the first thing I want to do for my icing is I want to change the size. So I'm going to make it 20. Just make it a little smaller than my cupcake. So now if I drag this and sit it on top, it looks all cute. So now we're going to go to our event. We say when the green flag is clicked, we're going to set size to 20%. We're also going to go to variables and we're going to set lives. We're going to make this 6. I'm going to start off with 6. I'm going to set lives to 6. Now I want this to stay in a certain position and to fall in a certain way. So I'm going to have this set the way that my icing is pointing in 90 degrees. I'm going to point in direction of 90 degrees. And I'm going to set Y to 180. And the next thing is that I want this to fall. Okay, so let's say if it's starting up here, I want it to fall, but I don't want it to just fall in one spot. So we're going to set X, and we're going to go to operators, and we're going to select pick random. And what I'm going to put in mine is negative 196 and 196. So this just tells me from over here to over here, I have anywhere in there that my game can pick for my icing to fall. So then it knows it has different options. So now what we're going to do is we're going to control the movement of our icing. So we're going to go to forever. We're going to get a control and grab a forever loop. We're also going to grab a change by and change Y by -5. And we're going to grab an if then from control. And then we're going to go to operators. And this one, we're going to say if this Y position, so remember that this way is your Y and this way is your X. So we're going to say that if this Y position is less than negative 160, we want to set our Y back to 180, and we want it to pick another random spot from up here. We're going to go to motion. I'm going to use Y position. If Y position. So that's the way that it falls down. So we're going to set Y to 180. And again, we're going to just copy this because we're going to use the same coordinates. Cool. Now you see that our icing is falling randomly, which is exactly what we want. Now we want to say that if this is touching the cupcake, we need to gain points. So we're going to grab another if then from control. And we're going to go to sensing, we're going to say touching. So if blank is touching, then let's say if touching, I'm going to rename my cupcake. Okay, so we're going to say if touching cupcake, not edge, cupcake, then we want to go to variables and we want to change points, not lives, but points. We're going to change points. We're going to say by 2. The next thing we're going to say is once it touches it, we're going to set back to 180. So I'm just going to separate these. Duplicate. Bam. Set to 180. So now we see that when it hits this point in our screen, it resets itself and goes back to the top. So we are, again, going to have it pick another random spot. So a lot of the things that we're using, they're going to be pretty repetitive, which is okay because that's the point of the game. It's a pretty repetitive game. So now that we know that our icing is starting at a position, falling, when it touches this, you're gaining points as it touches, let's see. Oh, pause. Where are we at? Cupcake is doing a little something weird. We need to change. Saying -8, -42. So the next thing that we're going to add is the same thing, if the points are greater. So for my frosting, I actually want this to end up here, sitting right on top when the game is over, just to make it pretty. So we're gonna go to control and we're gonna say if then. We're gonna go operators. We're gonna go to pointer greater than, and remember this is gonna be 44, and we're gonna go to variables and we're gonna input points greater than 44, and we want this to go to negative 23. Okay, which means our cupcake would be sitting right about, it's gonna sit right about here. Okay, so we're gonna go to motion and we're gonna go to where is our icing? I want this to negative 23, negative 23. All right, so these are the coordinates. So we're gonna grab one and we're gonna put that in. Okay, so this is everything for our icing. Now we need to do the rest of our variables. So we're gonna go and upload another sprite or character. And right now I'm gonna do my blue icing. And so simply all I did was drag this. So simply all I did was drag this into my blue icing. So now when we open it, it'll already be in here. And this one's gonna be a little different. I wanna change our size. Let's see what 30 looks like. 30 looks pretty nice. So we're gonna set size to 30% instead. And for this one, we don't need to do the set lives because we already have one of our characters giving that command. And we need this to actually, so go to wait, go to control, and we're gonna select the wait. We need this to wait so then everything isn't dropping at the same time. So we're gonna have this wait for about 3 seconds. I am going to, for this icing, choose different dropping points. So I'm gonna say set X to negative 90 and to 90. Okay. Now everything pretty much stays the same. The only thing about this one is that we're going to remove this last command. It doesn't need to do that. We also need to add to receive. When I receive, because remember our cupcake is going to give the command that when it commands hide, everything needs to stop. So when I receive a hide, we're going to go to looks, we're going to hide, and we're going to go to control, and we're going to stop, not all, but this script. Okay, so we're going to stop this script. So boom, this one done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upload another sprite. It's going to be my rotten fish. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm again going to drag and drop, drag and drop. So for our rotten fish, there's some things that definitely changed. Nothing in the rotten fish is going to be exactly the same as our other characters. Now this part does do the same. This one, we don't have to use this. So we don't need to stop all. So what we're going to do is, because it's already hiding, we want this to actually show. And we're going to do this the same for our blue icing, actually. We want them both to pop up. We don't want them to stay hidden. So we want this to show. All right. So we also need to set our size. So again, we're going to set size to 30. It's a pretty good size for all of our characters. So here's our little fish. Little fish. So here's the thing about the fish. When the fish touches the cupcake, you don't gain points. You lose points because it's rotten and you don't want it on a cupcake. So some things in here change. So we're going to wait 2 seconds for our fish. And I'm going to change our falling coordinates. So I'm actually going to do negative 75 and 75. Now, the next thing that needs to happen is we need to set our points. So we're going to go to variables and we're going to set points to 0. Okay, set points to 0. And now we're going to go down and everything here stays the same. This is all going to stay the same. The only thing that's going to change here is going to be, again, our pick random points. So we're going to make this negative 75 and 75. Okay, boom, out the way. So now the next thing that we have to do, and almost the last thing, is we want to actually change the points and we want to change the lives as well. So we're going to change points by -1, and we're going to change lives the same. So we're going to change lives by -1. So this just means that when it touches, it takes away 1 point. It also takes away 1 life. So let's give this a go. So this is our game. We're running pretty good. Let's see. Everything is falling. All of our random points are being picked up. Everything is where it needs to be. So now the last step is that when we hit all of our points like we want to, so all 44, I actually want the background of our game to change, at least for my game. You don't have to. You can definitely leave it like this. But I do want the background for me to change. And I want it to change. So you see, I want it to change to, so you're going to go to backgrounds, you're going to add, and I wanted some type of like party situation going on. So I'm going to just type in party, and I'm going to use this one with a balloon. I'm going to do party. And so our Cupcake gives the command or the broadcast to hide. So when we go to backdrops, we're going to insert events, and we're going to say when I receive hide, we're going to go to looks, and we're going to switch backdrop to party. All right.